All right, happy Friday, everyone. I know this is a Friday, and a lot of you guys could be doing something else today, but I promise you that these next 10 to 15 minutes will be worth it. So stay tuned. So today, I'm going to be talking about AI. Now, to a lot of you guys will be like, oh, I already know what AI is. Isn't that just something computers do, or like robots, right? But it's more than that. So I'm not going to tell you exactly what artificial intelligence is, but I'm also going to tell you what we've gone through, the timeline, and what we could do with AI as well. So let's get started. To answer the question of what AI actually is, I want you guys to look at the screen. Clearly, this man looks frantic. He wants to get on the higher level, right? And so you guys are already thinking that what solutions could he take to get up there? He could either use a ladder, maybe a rope, or even climb the wall if the wall was climbable. And by thinking like that, you yourself have figured out what AI is. You give the computer the goal, and the computer itself will figure out the steps. And so that's exactly what AI is. Now, don't get too hypnotized by this slide, but let me talk to you guys about the timeline of how AI started and what we are right now. So the AI, the term, was first theorized in the 1950s. Where back then, just like how we thought of flying cars, we also thought of, can robots take over the world? Or can AI take over the world? And then in the 1980s, the first actual programming, the first basis of AI was actually machine learning, where we give the computer some information, and it spits out some information. And that was all just simple math back then. Now in the 21st century, we have self-driving cars, even our phones right now. You guys are all actually using AI with biometrics, fingerprint scanners, face detection. That is all AI. Now, we've actually come to the point where you don't even know if the person next to you is a computer or not. So, yeah. So, like everything, a coin has two sides. And like that, AI also has two sides. There's a good and a bad. So, everyone likes to hear the bad news first, right? So, let's get into that. So, whether you guys know it or not, right now, as your phone is turned off in your pocket, probably, or on the table, anywhere, they're listening to you. And companies like Facebook, Google, Instagram, they do this to generate advertisements. Now, although it is for the good, it may feel invasive. And this highlights exactly why you should read the terms and conditions whenever you download an app. Because all these apps, they ask for microphone access. And that can become something malicious, especially when you're downloading an app that your friend recommended you, or someone that you don't know recommends to you. So I highly encourage that you guys listen to the terms and conditions and actually read through them, because it can be used in malicious ways. So on the screen, these two fine men, you probably already know the person on the left. Can anyone tell me who the person on the right is?
I know the person on the left, Elon Musk.
Okay, can anyone tell me the person on the left? Cage, yeah, exactly, good job. So what this presents is the idea of deepfakes, where I can impersonate someone. I can literally attach someone else's face onto mine, and I can completely steal the identity of someone else. So, and AI does this. You literally click a button, and AI will do this for you. Many of you guys probably have Snapchat. And Snapchat, although it's for entertaining purposes, it shows the basics of literally what a deepfake is. You apply filters on yourself, and that's essentially another word for deepfakes. Now, image is not the only type of deepfake. I was actually on TikTok yesterday, and I saw how even there's audio deepfakes as well. People are able to convert their voices to sound like someone else. And that's crazy. So we have both the visual and we have the audio. So now you actually stole someone's identity. So you guys can see how unsettling this really is. Now, you guys have definitely heard of these big three, and for a lot of the kids here, for sure, I know you guys have heard of it. ChatGPT, Bing AI, and Google Bard. You can ask these three literally anything. Now, they're different from Siri and Google Assistant in the way that Siri and Google Assistant, they won't write a 1,000-word essay for you, but ChatGPT will. So that's a plus point. But there's also some downsides too, like I said. When I first got introduced to ChatGPT, I asked, do you have any opinions about humans in general? And the first thing it told me, now it says, yeah, it has many opinions, and that humans are selfish, they're inferior, and honestly, it doesn't really care about us. And that shocked me. That kind of made me jump out of my seat. I was like, wow, what we saw in sci-fi movies is actually becoming a reality. OpenAI could become Skynet. Next. Now, there are a lot of bad things, so let's just move on to some of the good things. And one is a simple chess game, right? Chess.com, you can either play with a friend, which is multiplayer, or you can play with a computer. Now, like we said in the beginning, you give the computer a goal, and it will figure out the steps, right? The goal in this case is to beat you at chess. So what are the steps? Well, it's not one predicted step, right? It depends on whatever move you take, and it generates infinite possibilities for what it could do, and it picks the best step. Now, not even this, but many of you guys have heard of games like Call of Duty or even GTA. Now, a character in a 3D landscape could move one direction, and that would have numerous possibilities, or slightly adjust their position, and that could have a million other possibilities. So you can really see the power of AI. And next, we have something called generative AI, where you can actually give AI a prompt, and it will create images for you. So OpenAI, other than ChatGPT, has another platform called DALL-E. And you can give it any prompt, and it will create an image, like as is shown. And you guys might be thinking, oh, it might just scrape the web, and it might bring whatever Google Images has to offer. Well, that's wrong. What AI actually does is it takes pixels. It knows how to transform pixels to make new, unique images. So every image that you see here, you cannot find it on the web. On the prompt, you can give any artist name too. So if you want to draw like Picasso, it's going to make a nice painting that looks like Picasso drew it. But on Google Images, you won't find anything. So again, the power of AI. So we talked about what AI can do, and there's a lot of unsettling as well as very helpful and powerful things. But let's see the future steps that we can take. The three main things I think that we need to do in order to enhance AI are in the field of transportation, education, and exploration. Now, I'm going to skip the first two because the last one is truly mind-blowing. Did you guys know that the amount that we have discovered in space is actually more than the amount that we have discovered in our own oceans? Now that seems honestly shocking, but it's true. And that's because we can send like anything up into space, and because we know that every part of space is going to act the same way, that's not true about our oceans. Our oceans act different, like depending on the depth that you go. And after one point, neither technology nor humans can actually even enter. So that's where AI comes in. AI can be used to help us explore more of space, and even, honestly, more importantly, more of the sea. And so now I'm going to show you guys a sneak peek of something I created during the COVID-19 pandemic when I first got into computer vision and artificial intelligence in general. So I created a program that can detect faces in a frame. Now, it's nothing high-tech. All it can do is really just detect whether there's a face in the frame and put a rectangle around it. So let's see. Now, this is the code. So this is how a sample of data would look like. Now, you're probably thinking, oh, can't you just give it 100 million faces and try to match it, right? But that's not how it works. To make this work even better, I had to come up with a mathematical way to represent all the pixels in a frame. And by doing that, this is like 1,000-something lines. And it just has a bunch of mathematical operations and data. And so using this, I'm able to detect faces. So these are screenshots I took from my own computer. And so you see that on the left, they detected one face. On the right, it detects all 6 faces. Now you can do this with a webcam as well, but that's honestly too much for this demonstration. So I guess the conclusion is that you guys already know that AI can do so much. There's a positive and a negative side, and people can use this for malicious intent too. So it ends with the fact that with great power comes great responsibility, right? So you have the power to make AI your supplement, but that will not end good for the world. Instead, I want you guys to make AI a complement, where it completes you and not replaces you. And so with that said, the question remains, how are you willing to change AI? Thank you.